Right now at 6, breaking news. Minutes ago, we learned a second pedestrian has now died in a hit-and-run crash in San Francisco. That's according to the supervisor who represents that district. This is new video just into our newsroom. Police say 2 people were hit at 2nd and Mission in Soma around 4 o'clock this afternoon. The driver took off on foot. Officers found him a short distance away and detained him. The area is still shut down as police investigate.
Plus, for the first time in Santa Clara County, first responders roll up their sleeves for COVID-19 vaccines. And we're live with some new information about who's next.
We clearly are not out of the woods. We are in the thick of the woods.
I'm Don Ford in San Francisco. It's official and it's real. The Cliff House sign has been removed. I'll have this story coming up.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this New Year's Eve. I'm Andrea Nakano in for Elizabeth.
And I'm Ken Bastida, and our top story tonight on KPIX 5 and streaming on CBS and Bay Area, saying farewell to 2020. For thousands of people in the Bay Area, the year has been a total nightmare, and they are ready to kiss it goodbye.
KPIX 5's Dahlin shows us what they want to leave behind.
We typically end the year with a lot of booms and bangs along the San Francisco waterfront. Thanks to COVID, nope, we can't have fireworks either. But that doesn't mean we can't have some fun. I'm setting up shop on the Embarcadero to ask folks what and how they want to say goodbye to 2020.
I really want to say goodbye to 2020 for having all the restriction where we can't travel, we can't see our loved ones. My very first place, I want to travel to Hawaii.
Just want to hopefully say goodbye to like Zoom calls or Zoom meetings.
I think we'd like to say goodbye to not being able to see family and friends. So we're looking forward to gathering in the new year.
I just want to say goodbye to being bored at home, being able to socialize, not everybody being so paranoid.
I would like to say goodbye to all the suffering of all the people who are not able to work because of the pandemic.
I really want to say goodbye to in 2020 is inertia. It's getting off my butt and finally doing a lot of things I've been telling myself I'm going to do for years. I think like 2021 is the year to go do it. I'm going to be super energized by not having been able to go out in 2020.
What I'd really like to say goodbye to is the feeling that everybody in this country is either right or wrong. And I'd like to be able to think about my friends as my friends instead of who they voted for.
I want to say goodbye to all the money troubles and the job issues that come along with that.
I would like to say goodbye to Zoom school and how hard it is.
Schools would be, I think, a little bit easier since you're like with teachers and stuff.
Hopefully we'll get rid of the coronavirus, finally, with the new vaccine. And hopefully this new year will bring in happiness.
Good riddance, 2020. Last but not least, I want to say goodbye to the ban of in-person dining so I can eat at my favorite restaurants. Cheers to 2021, to good health, good food, and a much better year. I'm Don Lynn, KPIX 5.
All right, let's take a live look at our Bay Area bridges. Not much traffic out there right now since many people plan to celebrate at home virtually, but the clear skies are back once again.
Yeah, Brian Hackney is in for Paul. And Brian, we saw a little rain last night in the Bay Area and probably expecting more now.
Yeah, just that much. Yeah, there's going to be a repeat performance tomorrow night. But first things first, how about this, the final night of 2020? It's going to be clear. It's going to be chilly. It's going to be in the mid-40s for much of the Bay Area. And, you know, it'll be a nice night. Tomorrow will be a nice day for the first day of 2021. We've got high pressure over the West Coast. But look what's on the way. More showers by late tomorrow. In about 24 hours from now, we'll have another identical weak system coming through. So we'll expect some showers tomorrow night. Still tonight will be starry and chilly. The moon will be out a little bit later, patchy fog. And then mostly sunny to start 2021. And then here comes some showers Friday night. And then we get rain late Sunday, Monday, and also next Wednesday. All more details when we cover the weather. But first, let's get the news. Here's Andrea.
Well, a live look at San Jose tonight. With hours to go before the new year, health officials are pleading with people to not celebrate with others. So far, the county has received nearly 100,000 doses of the vaccine. KPIX 5's Kenny Choi joins us live with new information about how they're being distributed. Kenny?
Well, as we get ready to ring in the new year, the rush to get hospital workers vaccinated first is nearing the finish line, according to officials here in Santa Clara County. But there's still a very long road ahead for all the other types of healthcare workers and those who fall in line after that. Hundreds of first responders from fire and police getting doses of the COVID-19 vaccine at the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds.
We have had outbreaks in several of the agencies within Santa Clara County, and providing this first line of protection for our folks is really critical for them to continue to do their jobs.
95,000 doses of the Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccine have been delivered to Santa Clara County.
We are moving quickly towards getting everyone in the hospital sector vaccinated. And we will then move on to additional tiers within that first phase.
Workers in community clinics, doctors' offices, dentists, and other medical providers come next. Officials say there are 140,000 healthcare workers in the county.
Our priority, getting every single dose into somebody's arm. We do not want to sit on any vaccine like we've heard in other communities. We want to be a community that gets the vaccine and gets it out as soon as we can, and that's what we're working on.
Once Phase 1A is complete, then it's 1B, 75 and older, and essential frontline workers like teachers, law enforcement, and grocery store workers. Santa Clara County health officials say this will take several months.
It won't be under control until we have a high level of herd immunity, meaning up to 80% or more of our community is vaccinated before we feel safe enough to begin thinking about removing our masks.
The next phase is 1C, which includes people 64 to 74 years old and those with chronic conditions. Phase 2 is the general public. And it's been about 2 weeks since hospital workers first started getting vaccinated with those doses, those Pfizer doses, about 2 weeks ago. They'll start getting the second dose starting mid next week, according to Santa Clara County health officials. We're live in Palo Alto at Sutter Medical Health. Kenny Choi, KPIX 5.
All right, Kenny, thank you for that.
Looking live at San Francisco City Hall, the stay-at-home order and travel quarantine in the city will now stay in place indefinitely. People entering the city from outside the Bay Area are required to quarantine for 10 days, and outdoor dining, indoor personal services, and other activities are off limits. The previous orders were set to expire January 4th.
Still ahead on KPIX 5 and CBS Bay Area.
The special sick leave that expires at midnight tonight and why it could mean more people spreading the virus at work.
It's heartbreaking. It's such a loss for all of us. So, you know.
And then later, a restaurant with one of the best views in the Bay Area shuts down after decades.
Looking live at the state capitol in less than 6 hours, state COVID sick leave protections are set to expire.
Well, that means that starting tomorrow, workers may be forced to choose between staying home without pay after a COVID exposure or risk exposing their coworkers. All California workers were entitled to 2 weeks paid COVID sick leave. A state program made that mandatory by offering a tax credit for employers. But starting tomorrow, that paid leave is optional. The end of that program is creating a growing public health concern, especially since a more contagious COVID strain is now spreading in the state.
We're going to ask people that are going paycheck to paycheck to make a very difficult decision, protecting their coworkers or making sure that their family can get fed.
It's possible for the governor to act through executive order. However, this type of order would also require budget funding.
For employers who continue to offer this paid leave, the state's tax credit will remain in place until March 31st.
Still ahead, many people said they can't believe it's gone. The heartbreaking Bay Area restaurant closure.
And tourists supposed to stay away, but apparently they're not. What it will be like in Tahoe tonight.
Just what people wanted to feel at the end of a crazy year. A 3.6 magnitude earthquake struck south of Muir Beach, just west of San Francisco, shortly before 6 this morning. A lot of people felt some light shaking, but thankfully it wasn't strong enough to cause any damage.
Well, it has withstood massive earthquakes and economic depression and more, but the historic Cliff House restaurant at Land's End in San Francisco could not survive the pandemic. Letters on the restaurant sign were removed one by one today. KPIX 5's Don Ford was there for the end of an era.
No one thought that it would actually come to this, but after 150 years, the Cliff House restaurant is officially closed.
For more than 40 years, Dan and Mary Juntelas have managed the Cliff House restaurant. They were here before the National Park Service. Mary says last-minute negotiations to renew the lease have failed.
And at 11 o'clock, we got a call. No, it's 6 months extension and then 3-year continuance, and that's.
Wait, let me make sure I understand.
I know it's so convoluted.
She says the restaurant has lost employees, lost big money, and now has lost the lease. But everything inside is private property, even the sign on the roof. And so it is. Exactly at noon, the letter C was removed. A crowd gathered below. Cell phones raised, capturing the historic moment. The Cliff House is no more. But the Cliff House is not alone. Restaurants all across San Francisco are folding, never to open again due to the mandated shutdowns. Executive Chef Kevin Weber struggles to maintain composure, says staff is family.
One of my dishwashers, Raphael, came yesterday because he's been waiting 9 months because he didn't believe that it would happen. So he finally had to clear out his locker. Now he's worked for me for 27 years.
All day, staff came to say goodbye.
I worked until my 8th month of pregnancy.
Little Lionel is now 3 years old.
It's heartbreaking. It's such a loss for all of us. So, you know.
All right, you got it?
I got it.
Dan and Mary say they may be forced to auction all the historic items. In San Francisco, Don Ford, KPIX 5.
We reached out to the National Park Service today, but did not get a response.
A live look at New York City. Check out Times Square. Normally, there's a sea of people getting ready to ring in the new year. Not this time around. Officials told everyone to avoid Times Square, stay home, and celebrate virtually. Still, you can see a few people milling around, but not too many.
It's weird. It's not what I would expect.
I'm more used to seeing it, packed with tourists and whatever, and to see it as like a ghost town is definitely odd.
While some people are opting to stay in for New Year's Eve, many spent the day playing in the snow. Check out Lake Tahoe. The weather was beautiful for skiers, snowboarders, even people just wanting to play in the snow. The area got some fresh powder last night, making for some pretty smooth rides. Despite COVID, people headed to ski resorts today, trying to keep their New Year's Eve traditions alive, spending the day on the slopes.
Start the day off, a lot of powder. It's great. There aren't too many people out, so you just kind of make your own tracks, do your own thing.
Trying to spend as much time out here because it's one of the only things open right now.
Time for weather now. And Brian, we saw a spritz of rain yesterday, but we are expecting more on the way.
We are indeed. It was just slightly more than a spritz. It was a bit of a drizzle times 2 to the spritz factor. Yes, I think that's about what it was, as we did have about 1/10 of an inch of rain in parts of the Bay Area. As we look over the Bay Area right now, we've got clear skies to end 2020. Right now, Concord has 53 degrees, in Livermore it's 51, and in San Jose 53 degrees. Mostly clear skies. The moon will be out a little bit later as we look toward the Golden Gate Bridge. Here's Andrea Spritz, 0.15 of an inch in Santa Rosa. In San Francisco, 0.05. In San Jose, picked up 0.05 as well, and that was all she wrote. And that's pretty much what's going to happen again. We've got low pressure that is lingering out in the Aleutians, but this will ride over the top of high and bring some rain into the area by tomorrow night. So tonight we get away with clear skies for the most part. A few clouds out there, but not much. And more rain is coming in tomorrow night. We will once again see about 1/10 of an inch to 2/10 of an inch in the North Bay, lesser amounts the farther south that we go. And we do need it. As you can see on the time lapse of the Futurecast, here's Friday, tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. There's fog over there in the Central Valley, but over the Bay Area, we've got clear skies. But as time goes on, look what's coming. By 8:30 tomorrow night, we've got rain once again in Santa Rosa. That will drape itself over the bay and sink south as the night goes on. It splashes over the bay just like it did last night, and it'll be out of here by Saturday morning. But the difference is Saturday looks cloudy all day. There's not much in the way of sunshine for Saturday. as the storm door finally gets forced open. And that will produce about 9/100ths of an inch in Santa Rosa and about 1/100th of an inch in San Jose, lesser amounts down south. And in terms of average rainfall, ooh, doesn't look good. We're like at 1/3 of average for the Bay Area, and we won't add much. Not yet, anyway. A dry start to 2021, sunny with highs near 60 for tomorrow. And then a few showers Friday night through Saturday morning. Then Saturday's cloudy. More is coming in late Sunday, early Monday, and again on Wednesday. So we got a couple of systems moving in. Tonight will be clear. Temperatures near midnight will be in the mid to upper 40s. Overnight lows tonight, freezing in Santa Rosa. And high temperatures Bay-wide will be from 57 to 61 degrees. 59 at Danville, clear skies till late in the day in the North Bay, and ditto for Ukiah, which will top out at 60 degrees. In the extended forecast, we've got a few showers moving in again in 24 hours. Linger through Saturday. Sunday's cloudy, more rain Monday, and then more rain coming in on Wednesday as well. We'll update this at 7 o'clock tonight, but first, watch Andrea change hats without moving a muscle, because I think she's going to talk about sports.
That's right. Ahead in sports, San Jose State's bid to end the season undefeated takes a big hit just moments before kickoff. We'll take you to the Arizona Bowl next. It's been one of the best sports stories of the year in the Bay Area, but San Jose's attempt to have their first undefeated season in 81 years hit a massive speed bump when 6 players and both coordinators didn't make it to the Arizona Bowl. Some of the absences were reportedly due to COVID, and head coach Brent Brennan found out just before kickoff they were already missing Defensive Player of the Year Cade Hall, and then on the first play from scrimmage, tight end Derek Deese Jr. left the game after an awkward hit. It did not get any easier for the Spartans. Quarterback Nick Starkel, he telegraphs a pass and it's picked off for a touchdown by Antonio Phillips. 6-0 Ball State. Starkel was intercepted 3 times and was hobbled by a knee injury, down 27-0. Brennan puts the backup, Nick Nash, out there, and they were knocking at the door, but Nash rolls out, and then he turns it over in the end zone. The Spartans did not look like the 10-point favorite many expected to see in this game. The Cardinals put the game away in the third. Drew Plitt to Johannes Tyler for the 48-yard touchdown to make it 34-0 Ball State. They hold on to win 34-13 and hand San Jose State its first loss of the season, minus 6 players and 2 coaches.
Make no mistake, we felt like we were ready for this game. Ball State just came out there and they gave it to us.
I don't know the amount of days that this group was together just as a group this year, but it was significant. I mean, not living in our houses with our own families, so anytime any of those pieces aren't there, that definitely has a big impact, and the guys that can't be there are just devastated.
It was an ugly scene after the Armed Forces Bowl between Mississippi State and Tulsa. Seconds after time ran out on the Bulldogs' win, fists started flying, helmets were ripped off, and there was some stomping. Eventually, everyone cooled off, and Mississippi State head coach Mike Leach summed up the situation like this.
What's your message to the team, having seen that afterward?
Don't do it anymore, Well, I mean, this is a football game, so we're not going to be tearing cloth over this deal.
That's Mike Leach for you. We'll be happy to leave cardboard cutouts in 2020. They were keeping everyone company at an empty War Memorial Gym. USF scored 12 unanswered in the second half against San Diego. Khalil Shabazz gets the hoop and the foul off the steal. Backcourt mate Jamari Bouye had 24, and the Dons get their first conference win of the season, 70-62. And we'll be right back after this. Well, thanks for watching at 6. The news continues streaming on CBS and Bay Area. The CBS Evening News is next.
We'll be back here on the KPIX 5 News at 7 p.m. Have a good night.